Welcome back. Taking a full look at weather now. Chief Meteorologist Dan Cianca. I'm so excited just to see the sun out again, to feel, the warmth and not have all the rain that we've saw the past few weeks.
I know we're going on like 4 dry days in a row now after I think we decided it was like 19 out of 21 days. It was wet.
Yeah.
As we went from December into early January.
Yeah, I was driving down Lighthouse earlier today, and I just remember thinking like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like around here.
Yeah, a lot of times. In fact, this time of year, last year, we were talking about the Colorado fire on the Big Sur coast. And it was wet the previous December, but last year in January was completely dry. And this year has been a little different, although we're a little drier now. I want to talk about how wet it has been to date in January, though. Take a look at some of these rainfall totals. The observed are in the center column there. The observed rainfall is in the center column, rather. And then the percent of normal here on the right. And that is showing that all areas are above normal, in some cases quite a bit. Watsonville and Gilroy, almost 300% of normal, and King City just shy of 400% of normal, or 4 times the amount of rain you typically expect to get, at least through this date during the month of January. So some pretty impressive totals at our climate sites anyway. And will we see any more before the end of the month? Maybe a little bit, but probably not much. And here's the reason why. This big ridge of high pressure will remain in control here off to our west for the next several days. This is acting as storm blockers. So we see storms out here. They got to go all the way up into Alaska and down into British Columbia before they reach here. That's not a very good trajectory for moisture for the west coast. Now, the ridge will skinny up a little bit as we head into the weekend, and we notice that the big cold air mass across the rest of the country gets a little bit closer to us here in California as this trough of low pressure here digs to the south. So what can often happen in a situation like this is we do get a little impulse that'll ride down the jet stream along the coast, and well, we call these inside slider systems. If the center of the system ends up, over the Great Basin, it's usually very dry for us here, and oftentimes we end up with gusty winds and things like that. But if it does go offshore, sometimes it can pull in some moisture. So we're kind of doing battle with what's going to actually turn up with this system. Some models are showing it bringing some moisture in and giving us a little bit of rain in the Sunday to Monday timeframe. This particular model, which is the GFS or the American model, is not showing that solution, at least not in this operational run. Some of the ensemble members of the GFS, and yeah, I know that's a lot of words there. Some of this type of model's solutions are showing some rain. This particular one is not. I'll just put it that way, at least in that Sunday to Monday time frame. Beyond that, though, the ridge does look like it flattens out a little bit by midweek next week, and as it passes to our south, we could see at least a brief return of a more moderate to heavy type of moisture flow for us, which could bring some heavier rainfall somewhere midweek and that next week. We're watching that for you. In the meantime, the next several days are going to be dry. High pressure off to our west. One area of low pressure bringing some winter-like weather across Arizona, and in between this cold, dry air mass filtering in from the north. Now, it'll modify in the coming days, and temperatures will start to warm up a little bit, but skies are expected to stay mostly clear. We're not going to see much in the way of cloud cover, and certainly no rain here for the next 4 days or so. Clouds of visibility tonight showing clear conditions, so that's pretty good. We're basically looking at offshore flow. And as we look at Futurecast, I've chosen to show the winds instead of the clouds because it actually isn't showing any clouds for the next 24 hours. So you just look at a blank map with a clock at the top, which is boring. So come into a wind map with me and we'll look at the winds blowing offshore through the overnight hours. Oh, it looks like they pick up a little bit early tomorrow morning. That's the drainage winds kicking in, the dense air. And it's going to be a cold morning tomorrow morning. The dense air from our valleys, pools like lakes, and just like our river systems, the natural outlet is the coast. So we see a flow develop, and this is our drainage wind going out to sea and getting picked up by the light northeasterly flow. And it's still going to mean sunny skies for us throughout the day tomorrow. So there you go. Sunshine tomorrow, fairly light winds. I know it looked kind of windy, but maybe breezy offshore winds at the most, but nothing all that extreme. Let's talk temperatures. Where are we going tomorrow? We're starting off cold, certainly in the Santa Cruz Mountain Valleys. One thing you need to watch out for, and we actually had a report of this morning, was some black ice. Yeah, I mean, it's cold enough at night. We can see temperatures dipping below freezing, and what's still oozing out of all the hills and road cuts around here? Water. Yeah, all of this water is still running across roadways in places, not like in a torrent, but just a slow ooze of water. And when the temperature drops below freezing, it turns into ice. So be careful tomorrow morning, especially in low sheltered areas. We could see some black ice. Highs, though, back in the upper 50s tomorrow afternoon, looking pretty nice. Right around 60 on the coast in Santa Cruz and Capitola tomorrow. Watsonville coming back to 63. Salinas, 65 tomorrow. It has been a hot minute since we've seen a high temperature above normal in Salinas. In fact, we have to go back to about 3 weeks ago where a storm system was coming through and southerly winds, even while it was raining, southerly winds got us into the mid 60s. That's as warm as it's been. So 65 tomorrow, looking pretty nice in Salinas after a start at 37. The Monterey Peninsula, upper 30s to around 40 overnight. Highs back in the low 60s for the most part tomorrow afternoon. Not too bad in Monterey. At 62, go stand in line for the aquarium for free. Sounds like fun. Down south, the Salinas Valley, highs in the mid 60s, lows in the 20s in our southern valleys. So certainly could still see some black ice there too in our sheltered valley. So just be careful tomorrow morning. That 7-day forecast showing the warm up. Lows will keep warming up to the end of the week. Highs will peak on Thursday and then just ease on through the weekend. We do have rain chances, but not guarantees on Sunday and Monday. And if we do get rain those days, I don't expect it to be much of a hazard for us, maybe just an inconvenience. Midweek next week, that might be a little different story, but either way, cold mornings inland for the next couple of days. High temperatures peak on Thursday. More seasonable weather into the weekend. We're going to keep you up to date on those rain chances, Veronica, Sunday and Monday.
Sounds good, Dan. Thank you.